All right, check this out. This was the view outside Twitter headquarters last night, a projected scroll of phrases next to Elon Musk's name, phrases like supreme parasite, mediocre manchild, apartheid profiteer, and bankruptcy baby. Now, those insults appeared hours after Elon Musk's deadline for remaining employees to decide their fate, to commit to, quote, work extremely hardcore on Twitter 2.0, which apparently means long hours at high intensity or collect your 3 months of severance and leave the company. Now, he reportedly suspended everyone's access to the building until Monday while they made their decisions. Fortune magazine reports that last night, as many as 1,200 of them opted to leave. And that includes critical engineers. So just over 2,000 staffers remain, and they are presumably working extremely hardcore to keep the platform from crumbling. Many now former employees doubt that they will be successful. As one former executive put it, quote, they will struggle just to keep the lights on. In fact, the site experienced outages in the U.S. today. We should note that many of the staffers on the team dedicated to preventing outages resigned yesterday. Already, Musk is begging some of the company's top talent to stay on. And early this morning, he emailed what remains of his engineering team saying, quote, anyone who can actually write software, please report to the 10th floor at 2 p.m. today. Thanks, Elon. Now, that left employees a little confused. You'll recall Musk previously told them they would not have access to the building returned until Monday. Now, the platform millions of us use is hanging on by a thread, as Musk tries to figure out how to avoid filing for bankruptcy. In fact, Musk announced a series of additional changes today, and they included things like deboosting negative tweets and arbitrarily reinstating some previously banned accounts without providing his reasoning or explanation. So far, that does not include the former president, but if Musk ever decides to bring Trump back, will he have any employees left to follow that order? Joining us now is Brandi Zdrajny, NBC News senior reporter, who has been following every twist and turn of this story for us. Brandi, thank you so much for being here tonight. So every day, it seems this story just gets crazier and crazier and is moving quite rapidly. When Musk decided to restore the accounts of comedian Kathy Griffin and Canadian podcaster Jordan Peterson and the right-leaning satire website Babylon Bee, he didn't really give a explanation or any logic or reasoning for it. He just did it arbitrarily, it seemed. And just a couple hours ago, he created a Twitter poll asking followers if Trump should be reinstated. What does it mean for policy decisions, like which accounts are suspended and which are not, to be made by the whims of one man rather than clearly outlined as company policy?
You just said it. The problem with these moves is that every rule is, sort of capriciously made by this billionaire. And, he has called actually for a content moderation council. I'm not sure what that means, but whatever that does mean, it doesn't really matter because it's just him. He is acting like God, seemingly with little thought about or care about the repercussions of these actions. And just to talk about the repercussions of these actions, it's really important to look at who he brought back today, right? And the people that he brought back, the Babylon Bee and Jordan Peterson, an author, shows what his focus is right now, and that is to reverse policy on trans hate speech and harassment. That is seemingly allowed as of tonight with the reversal of these suspensions, right? Because those accounts had been suspended for misgendering trans people. And that's all happening at a time when attacks and harassment against trans people on this platform and off is really as bad as it's ever been. And it's extending to their caregivers and allies. It's truly out of control. So the fact that this is one of the first reversals that he's making does say something about where his priorities lie.
Musk also announced that he would, quote, deboost and demonetize negative and hate tweets. He did not provide his definition of a negative tweet. I think a lot of people online were asking him about what constitutes a negative tweet. Do we have any updates about what this means and how he will implement it with what is now a miniature staff?
So those are both very good questions. I'm not sure what a negative tweet means. I think for any of us who spend any time on Twitter, if you're trying to deboost all the negative tweets, then Twitter is going to be a very quiet place. But again, it is capricious. It's at the whims of his whims. And but the bigger thing that you also raise is, how are they going to decide what's negative or what's hateful? Because he's gutted their entire trust and safety team. His trust and safety team leader quit earlier this week and just wrote an op-ed for the New York Times and basically said, you don't need a trust and safety department when all of the thinking that goes into policy is just whatever you feel like that day. And so, yeah, it's a really big problem. They have no way to moderate the platform. They were doing, honestly, a poor job before, and now it's just, there's no way.
Let me ask you really quickly about the outages. There were some reported today. Tech journalist Kara Swisher wrote that such outages are possible and used to happen all the time. She also advised people to be on guard for hacking, especially if they have any credit card information linked to their accounts. How should people prepare for Elon's Twitter 2.0?
Yeah, I mean, the platform is not safe with Elon Musk at the helm. And that's not just me saying that. That is experts from, people in the media like Kara to privacy experts. They have lost all of the employees who used to be in charge of privacy, who used to be in charge of security. Those people are all gone. And, I do just want to say in terms of safety, it's not just, our personal privacy and safety that we need to be concerned about, but Twitter is a place where, it was the public square, especially for places outside the U.S., right? And those offices are gutted as well. The whole of Africa, most of Mexico, India. And so what happens to those places where those people rely on Twitter as a place to organize and advocate? It's just, Twitter's become a much more dangerous platform in lots of ways.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the safety of protesters in places like Iran and elsewhere who rely on it for safe and secure communication. We'll see what happens.